So in today's video, we're going to try to restore this one. This is the locomotive I got a couple of videos ago at that hobby shop. One thing I would like to point out before I start the video, and that is when I was talking about it having the same internals as a CP locomotive, the one from Merrickville, I was not talking about the Athearn CP locomotive, I was talking about that weird Bachmann. I was talking about this one to be exact, so yeah, not to be confused, of course. So, anyways, I believe they have these same internals. This one has the same internals as that one, so hopefully it will be as easy to restore. I did get that one working, by the way. Unfortunately, these old Bachmanns are not known to be the strongest. They have very, very weak 3-pole motors, and the only way they work well is to have a high gear ratio, but those don't tend to last the longest. I haven't modified this loco in any way since the video where I bought it. Well, I did a little bit. I got rid of the dual headlights because I don't like dual headlights that much, but that's the only thing. I have not touched it since then. Okay, well, I'd say my guess about it being the same on the inside was right. I suspect this thing is definitely modded, by the way. There's another light that's covered over on the front. This thing, somebody was doing some heavy modding. I suspect they bought this locomotive used, so this could be a 40-some-year-old locomotive, maybe even more. Who knows? I mean, I should probably try just looking for more electrical issues, but it didn't fire up when we tried testing it in the last video, so I don't see why that would have changed. Okay. Doesn't actually look as bad as I thought on the inside. Okay, so these are not struggling whatsoever. I thought the last one, the problem was it was so lubricated, the grease had dried up, and also one of the motor brushings had come undone, so that's why that one didn't work. In this case, it seems to be working fine, so I'm going to guess it's an electrical issue. We could try putting it on the track and see if, just by maybe wiggling it around a bit more, we can try to get it to spring to life, because it's either that or this motor is burned out, and if that's the case, really, the only option is to try to rewind it or to buy a new motor. Both are pains. The unit on the track here. Oh, yeah, it actually just turned a bit. This thing gonna, oh. It's trying. Okay, guys, the unit appears to have caught fire. Well, not fire, but it's smoking. It's not terribly hot, though. I don't think that was the armature itself catching fire. There's always a chance, though. With really old commutators, there's always a chance that part of the commutator brush got stuck between the spaces of the commutator, and that can cause shorts, so that could be what was burning. I hope that's what's burning, but with an old motor, you just really cannot tell. Okay, there's a screw on the bottom. I'm not sure if that holds the motor in place. I don't remember there being one on the last locomotive. I lied, there was. There is some scratches on the metal, which does indicate somebody's been in here as well. Okay, we've got the motor out. The magnetism on it still feels pretty strong. Ooh, that doesn't look good. There's a wire crossing over. I'm not sure if you can see that. Right there, there's that wire. I really hope somebody didn't try to do their own rewind your motor and they didn't know what they were doing. Where does it go? Oh, I've lost it. That's not good. I don't know, folks. I've never rewound a 3-pole motor, 5-pole motor. This could be full of trouble. Brushing. Unfortunately, to access the motor, we have to take off these bits. People always say you can't take them off. They're put on there like using some sort of heat. In my experience, you can just pry these right off. Can't imagine it's terribly good for them, but not impossible. Now, oh, okay. So you can see with each, basically, this is the commutator. Each of these wires go to that. This one. Okay, now I'm confused. I was about to say, I thought this loose wire right here maybe used to go to that one because it's missing a wire right there, but it's not. Where does this wire go? Okay, good. I have, in fact, found the other part of that wire. So is it possible, maybe? Actually, it doesn't. It goes around here. Okay, I've come to the conclusion. This wire and this wire used to connect on this tab. So in theory, if we solder them back together, we might get this working. I'm hoping that I can just solder this and there's nothing wrong with any of the poles, because I've never rewound a 5-pole motor before. I have successfully actually wound 3-pole motors, but they're already much simpler, and I've had many failures rewinding 3-pole motors, so hopefully this is our only problem. Okay, I'm pretty silly. I actually forgot to do the bit that I have to solder these wires onto. The wires out one day, because if they tried to do this, it makes me wonder if maybe the other wires have bad connections as well. This magnet had to pop out. I'm gonna try putting it in with super glue. So I have noticed something about super glue, which in my opinion makes it slightly better than crazy glue or CA, which is that it has this little cap that you can seal her up with. Okay, hopefully we can get this thing in now. Oh, it seems good. Well, after tons of finicky soldering, I believe we have the motor working again. It turns properly, the magnetism still feels pretty good, so all we have to do now is give her a test and see if we actually got this one working right. I'm entirely sure what the exact voltage of this controller is. I would assume not too high. Let's try and give her a little power from, there we go. Okay, well, she is turning. These old Bachmanns are a little tricky to get the motors back in on because they've got these little clips. I didn't quite get that on enough for it to fit. Well, now that we have this thing working, then I guess we can put her back together, and hopefully we'll get a good performing locomotive. Another piece of evidence that somebody else was inside here. This top piece of metal right here, this only has 3 screws. And no, I did not lose one. There we go. That is a miracle. To be honest, I'm surprised we even got it this far. I mean, I know it's not bombing around, but it is working pretty smooth. After fiddling around that motor, you know, the motor is probably the most sensitive part of any engine. And I was just sure all the soldering joints were broke. I was like, I do not think I'm going to get this one working, but here it is. It would be nice if I had a light, but I feel like if I'm really determined enough, I could buy a small, maybe 12-volt light, somehow hook it up to the motor leads. This would actually be a very cool locomotive to install BCC on. I'm not sure if you can though, since the whole shell or the whole frame is metal and there's a conductor. So I heard that with some older Proto 2000 locomotives, which were built pretty much the same way, that is a problem.